Liquid oxygen. We have finished kerosene loading on both the second stage, and we've just wrapped up on first stage. We are also loading liquid oxygen on the second stage. Propellant loading will finish between T-3 and T-2 minutes. We're currently chilling in the 9 Merlin 1D engines with liquid oxygen in preparation for launch. The spacecraft team went to internal power T-35 minutes, working no issues on the Intelsat satellite. The range is ready to support from air and sea, and the good news is that the weather, it looked iffy earlier the last couple of days, but it looks very good right now for an on-time launch both at ground level and at the upper altitude winds. So at T-545, everything is go on the rocket. Now for more information on the mission and capabilities of the epic Intelsat 35e spacecraft and system, we have a short video for you with Steve Spengler, CEO of Intelsat.
Thank you for joining us to watch the launch of Intelsat 35e, the fourth of our Intelsat Epic high-throughput satellites. Today's launch continues the epic journey that we began in January of 2016. As Intelsat 35e is launched into space and placed into service, the performance of our global network will be enhanced yet again. IS-35e will deliver innovative satellite services designed especially for our customers at 325.5 degrees east. The Intelsat 35e satellite features C-band and Ku-band services configured in spot beams and wide beams. It allows our C-band customers to benefit from the high performance of the Intelsat Epic design. This satellite also features a tailored Ku-band beam that supports one of the leading DTH networks in the Caribbean region. And as customers begin to experience Intelsat Epic, they understand the benefit of using the industry's first all-digital commercial satellite platform. This provides any beam to any beam connectivity and maximum configuration possibilities. This is especially relevant to the community on Intelsat 35e, which includes many wireless operators and network service providers that are transitioning from the Intelsat 903 satellite. On behalf of Intelsat's employees around the world, I'd like to express our appreciation to our manufacturer, Boeing, and our launcher, SpaceX, for their commitment to excellence and for delivering a successful program for Intelsat. I also want to recognize the Intelsat team for their work on Intelsat 35e. I am honored to serve alongside the brightest and most talented people this industry has to offer. We appreciate and applaud your efforts to make Intelsat 35e a success. Lastly, thank you to our customers for joining us in this epic journey. Wishing us all a successful mission. Go Intelsat 35e.
We're just inside T-3 minutes and 30 seconds. All continues to go well for an on-time launch at 36 minutes after the hour. Currently out at Launch Complex 39A, the clamp arms have been opening up around the second stage in preparation for the initial retract of the strong back around the Falcon 9. Same time, we've just heard the call that the thrust vector control motions, the checkout of the actuators that guide the upper stage engine on stage 2, have completed. They looked good. Next major activity is going to be continued retraction of the strong back. It moves about 1.5 degrees away from the rocket. At liftoff, it will then move the rest of the way to the position of 77.5 degrees above horizontal. Big event, T-1 minute. The flight computer will go to startup. We will then take over the internal sequence that finishes with ignition of the 9 Merlin engines just before T0. At full thrust, at T0, we command liftoff. The Falcon 9 begins the flight to space into the first of 2 orbits planned for today's mission. So currently T-2 minutes 20 seconds, everything looks good. We're going to listen and watch to the launch of Falcon 9 with Intelsat 35e.
Stage 2 locks closed out. Falcon 9 is on internal power. Vehicles in self-align.
processor started.
FTS announced AFTS is ready for launch.
AFTS is ready for launch.
Gas closeout is complete.
VC verify F9's in startup.
Falcon 9's in startup. Stage 1, Stage 2, press for flight.
LD verify go for launch.
Go for launch.
T-minus 30.
Stage 2 at liftoff pressures.
T-minus 20.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight.
T-minus 10, 9. Got to launch abort.
John Isbrecher on the webcast net here in Hawthorne, California. We were inside T-minus 10 seconds. We've had an abort in the countdown sequence. We're waiting to hear more information right now. Currently, the team is going through the safing procedure of the Falcon 9, and we'll wait a minute, see if we can get some information on what caused the abort. Back with you again. We're still waiting for word on CountdownNet for the cause of the abort. We just did hear the call out that the scrub safing sequence is underway. This is a standard procedure. We go through this every time we static fire a Falcon 9 in Texas and at the launch sites, so this is not unusual to the team. However, because it is a scrub safing, we expect that this will end our launch attempts for today, given that we only had a 59-minute window. But we're going to stay here for just another minute in case we can get some information on what caused the abort. Again, we were inside of 10 seconds when we had the abort. We're waiting to find out what had happened on the Falcon 9 or possibly on the ground systems.
LC Launch Director and Countdown.
Go ahead.
Okay, we had a vehicle abort criteria violated at T-minus 10 seconds. GNC criteria, we're still looking into what that is. This time we're not going to be able to get a recycle in today without going past the end of the window, so we're officially scrubbed. I'd like to go ahead and put a 24-hour recycle to work.
Copy that.
John Ensperger again. As you heard, countdown 1, as they went through their safing procedure, the team does reach a point where the engineers brief out what the cause of the abort was. In this case, you heard the SpaceX launch director discuss this as a GNC criteria abort. This is a computer abort that happened at T-minus 10 seconds, where we're looking at the status of the guidance system and the flight hardware that supports it. It appears that something was out of limits. The computers stopped the countdown before we got into the engine ignition sequence. Unfortunately, though, as we heard the launch director state, we're not going to be able to recycle the countdown in the time that we have left in the window and make another attempt today. We do have, obviously, the data from the countdown and the abort. The team will be able to look at that. That'll give us an opportunity to assess when we might be able to launch again, but it will not be today. Now, as a reminder, there is a backup launch window tomorrow, almost the same time, about a minute or so earlier than we were planning to launch this evening from Complex 39A in the Kennedy Space Center. So that's going to wrap up our webcast. We got the weather cooperated today. We got all the way down to 10 seconds. Then we had an automated abort. Falcon 9 looks good. We're safing the rocket. We'll offload propellants. We'll take a look at what the data is and then figure out what our next launch opportunity is going to be. So I invite you to follow along on our social media pages as we know more and we can replan for when the next launch of Intelsat 35e will be from Launch Complex 39A on the Falcon 9. With that, we'd like to thank everyone who supported, especially the teams that have worked to get us to this point. And we hope to be able to come back maybe as early as tomorrow at the same time and bring you the launch of Intelsat 35e. But until our webcast resumes again, we're signing off for this afternoon. Thank you for watching, and good evening.